Disclaimer before I start this video. I'm using the terms boys or male students and girls or female students because that is the language used in the dress codes I've encountered. I understand that there are many other genders and not everyone fits into the binary, but because the stuff I'm talking about actually does make that assumption, that's the language I'm using here. If this does not fit you, sorry. So the weather is getting warmer here in the US and people of all ages and genders are shedding their winter cloth fabric cocoons in favor of more comfortable, more revealing, weather-appropriate clothing, eventually leading to the ultimate goal of wearing as little fabric as humanly possible to lessen the impact of the sweltering heat of the sun, or depending on where you live, the humidity from hell. School-aged kids and teens are, of course, not immune to the effects of the aforementioned sun. They too want to be comfortable, and so too will they want to don more weather-appropriate clothing as the weather heats up. But about half of them won't be permitted to. If you're somehow not aware of the situation, most schools have dress codes in place to aid in the creation of an appropriate learning environment, which sounds okay in theory until you actually start to think about it. Nearly every school's dress code reads like this. Skirts and shorts must be at least to the fingertips. No straps thinner than 1 inch. No halter tops. No tube tops. No exposed midriffs. No cleavage. No, 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 no. Now go back through that list again. What do all those things apply to? Generally, boys aren't wearing short shorts, mini skirts, and spaghetti strap tank tops. Most, if not all, school dress code rules apply solely to their female students. And why? Typical answer, because it's distracting to other students. That is to say, boys. So what you're telling me is other students are gonna see 1 extra inch of skin, a thing which they too possess, and promptly lose all ability to focus in class? Well, newsflash, school administrator. They're not having trouble focusing because the girl in front of them is wearing spaghetti straps today. They're having trouble focusing because school is exhausting and hard and not fun. Try again. Some schools might claim that these rules are in place solely for the protection of the female students from those wild animals known as young boys. Right, so I'm just gonna come out and call that exactly what it is, which is perpetuating rape culture. Surprise! What a person is wearing has no bearing on anything! If somebody's gonna ogle or harass or even assault somebody else, what the victim of that assault, ogling, or harassment was wearing has nothing to do with it at all. Not ever. Not at all. No, 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 no. Not to mention insinuating that boys literally cannot control themselves and will immediately pounce on whatever female in their visual radius is showing a little extra skin as soon as the weather gets hot is so demeaning to those boys. It's like, oh, we don't trust you not to ogle, or worse, your classmates, so we're just gonna force them all to cover up so that you don't even have to think about dealing with self-control until it's too late. It's just bad for everyone involved. And though there's way more to talk about the subject, the last point I'll make. If you make girls cover up in the summertime regardless of the heat, just because you think that their bodies are distracting to the boys, you're perpetuating the idea that women are nothing more than their bodies, and that those bodies are merely sex objects. But guess what? Legs are not sex organs, nor are shoulders, nor are stomachs, nor are breasts. Long live short shorts, halter tops, mini skirts, spaghetti strap, and whatever else makes you feel comfortable in the summer heat. And if covering up makes you comfortable, more power to you. You go ahead and do that. Don't force it on the rest of us. And that is my PSA for the summer. Peace, love, geekdom. Goodbye. I would just like to say that when I was in high school, our dress code had a whole other layer, and that was the administrators discriminated against ugly girls and sent them to the office and made them cover up more frequently than the pretty popular ones. So that was a whole new can of worms. Like, if you weren't conventionally attractive at my high school, you got yelled at, whereas the girl walking directly in the sight line of the administrator who was yelling at you for your spaghetti straps being too narrow was wearing a tube top, which is also against the rules, and she would be allowed to go on with her day because she was prettier than you. I'm not even kidding. That actually happened. Repeatedly.